Runner versus cyclist. There has always been some rivalry between the two, and we have found the perfect battleground for runners and cyclists to duke it out once and for all. We'll be using Zwift's grueling Alpe du Zwift, a virtual version of the legendary Alpe d'Huez climb within France. Naturally, we're roping our friends in from GTN for the cycling and ourselves at GTN for the running. But just to add more to the mix, we have invited some familiar faces, Lucy and Reece Charles-Barclay, who have actually decided to take on one another. Lucy will be cycling and Reece will be running. I tell you what, there are going to be fireworks. So let's take a look at the competition. On the cycling side, we have Maya from GTN Espanyol. She's going to be racing alongside Lucy Charles-Barclay. On the running side, we have our very own Heather from GTN. She is going to be racing alongside Lucy's husband, Reece Charles-Barclay. Now the race itself is quite simple. It's an all-out effort up the 12.2 kilometre Alpe du Zwift, an epic climb within the Watopia course of Zwift, featuring 21 hairpins and an average gradient of 8.5%. But this is where things get really quite interesting, because whereas the cyclists experience that gradient change through their smart trainers, the runners do not. And this is what we've decided to play on today, because it essentially levels the playing field between both the cyclists and the runners, provides this really exciting and potentially very close race and head-to-head between the two. And you know what's really cool is today you get to see this battle unfold, but later this week you can get involved yourself too. In a mass participation event, you can choose to be whether you're a cyclist or a runner over the same format, but these guys will be getting involved in that race too. And on that note, let's go see how they're doing ahead of today's race. Okay, Lucy and Reece, welcome to our runner versus cyclist on Alpe du Zwift today. So, Lucy, first off, how many times have you been up Alpe du Zwift before?
Definitely a fair few. I've done it in races. And I've also done a pretty big session where we went up it a few times, but I'm not someone who's done the virtual Everesting times. But
Do you have a PB up Alpe du Zwift that you know of?
yeah, I think it's just under 41. So that was when we did the Z Pro race, and I went my hardest effort up there yet. So who knows what we're going to do today. That was a pretty big effort on that day.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Now, Reece, over to you then. You've got your work cut out. She's going to go sub 41 minutes. That's around 3 minute 20 per kilometre pace, 18 kilometres an hour for 12.2k. Do you think you've got that in you today?
No.
Have you got any idea how you might pace this as the runner, at the very least anyway?
I think I'm going to build each back, to be honest. Start off quite steady and then work it. So I'm working really hard at the top, but hoping that Lucy hasn't got the legs to go that quick today either. So I'm sure we'll both be very competitive once we get going.
Good stuff. And Lucy, same for you. Will you aim to pace this consistently? Are you planning some games and surges of pace to maybe get the better or get the hand on Reece?
I think I might go for a similar tactic to Reece, so build my effort on the way up. It's quite cool because each switchback you can see how many watts you're putting out. So hopefully I'm just going to add a couple of watts per switchback and see how that goes.
And obviously we're racing virtually here, but you two are actually in the same room, so you can see each other. Are there going to be any mind games going on? Maybe you're going to make it look like you're not working that hard, or maybe you're going to make it look like you're absolutely screwed and actually you've got loads in the tank.
Well, we haven't spoke all morning, so I think she's taking this very seriously. I don't really know what her real tactics are. She always says she's going to take it off easy and then sets off like a rocket. So, yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on what she's doing.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's my husband or Lionel in the room.
I was confused too. So, well, best of luck to both of you. We're very excited to watch this unfold. Right, we're just moments away from this runner versus cyclist up Alpe du Zwift. We've got Lucy and Maya on the cycling side. We've got Heather and Reece on the running. And I've got Cy Richardson from GCN joining me on the commentary. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go, 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 go. Lucy's gone for a very hard start here. 470 watts from Lucy just to start off there. I think she's trying to get a gap early on. Maya seems to be trying to follow. She's at 6 watts per kilo.
Well, it is a brutal start to Alpe du Zwift, isn't it? If you've ever ridden it either on Zwift or in real life, you know that it goes from 0% gradient up to 10% gradient right from the bat. So as a bike rider, you have to go full gas, I think. Otherwise, they're just going to be hemorrhaging time to these two runners.
Absolutely. I mean, Reece has gone out at an absolutely ridiculous pace. He's going sub 3 minutes per kilometre. He's at 2:57. So he's probably got his treadmill at max at probably 18 kilometres an hour. I'm not sure that's sustainable. Well, we've actually got something quite interesting happening here. So Lucy and Maya have tried to stay together, and Reece has gone off obviously at this ridiculous pace, and he has already overtaken the cyclist as it started to kick up. Heather has gone for a slightly different tactic in that she has set out at 5 minutes per kilometre and clearly is just trying to build in, whereas Reece just gone for the total opposite, going off hard, trying to get that advantage early on, and trying to see if he can make that stick. I mean, should we talk through a little bit on the times up Alpe d'Huez and Alpe du Zwift? Because, I mean, there's some interesting history there, isn't there? And you know a lot about the cycling.
Well, yeah, I mean, in real life, the fastest recorded times up Alpe d'Huez all go to Marco Pantani, set in the turbocharged heyday of cycling in the mid-90s. So 36 minutes 39 is the best time in real life. Now, the best time in recent years is actually Nairo Quintana. So he did 39 minutes. But Alpe du Zwift is a little bit quicker, a little bit shorter, and actually the best time of Alpe du Zwift is a rower. So a German guy called Jason Osborne, an astonishing, like a mind-bending 451 watts for 32 minutes 26 seconds, like easily up there with any pro cyclist currently racing today. So staggering times there. And in the women's, we've got Sarah Dagante, who is a pro cyclist currently riding for the Tibco team. And she did 5.6 watts per kilo to post 37.38. And Lucy actually is the 5th fastest time in history up Alpe du Zwift.
Well, Lucy is actually doing an amazing job now trying to claw back her partner, Reece. I mean, I think it's come down to around 17 seconds. So that pain cave, there's all sorts of fireworks going on in there at the moment. But yeah, I'm trying to see what's going on with Maya and Heather just slightly further back. Maya obviously did start out with Lucy. Hopefully that hasn't hurt her too much, but it seems like she allowed Lucy to go and settled into her pace.
Yeah, Maya's looking like she's riding at just about 4 watts per kilo, which is a really good, solid tempo. So I would imagine she might have something left in the tank just to lift the pace a little bit later on, or indeed for when the gradient kicks in a little bit more.
Yeah, and as we said, Heather started out relatively conservatively, and she's already started bumping the pace up. She's at 4:41 kilometre pace, and she looks incredibly comfortable there on the treadmill. We've got a brilliant battle actually going on between Maya and Heather. As I've just noticed, they're yo-yoing between sort of 5 and 10 seconds at the moment. So we do have essentially two big races going on here between Lucy and Reece, husband and wife, and Maya and Heather. So yeah, very, very exciting here.
I've noticed Lucy's just knocked it up to 5 watts per kilo there. So she is doing exactly what she said. I mean, no surprise, I guess, given her pedigree, but always impressive to execute a race plan to a T like that. And so yeah, here we are just a few minutes in, and she's already just increasing the intensity, which like I say is impressive to do. I've noticed Heather's just lifting the pace a little bit. She's now up to 4 minutes 30 per kilometre. So she too is doing some impressive negative splits and neck with Maya Len. This is it's really intriguing to see how this one's panning out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, they can keep track of the hairpins, and we've got, just over 1,000 metres of elevation to take in today.
Mark, are we just about to see Lucy make the catch? I can see Reece just up ahead here. Is this the point at which she's gonna...
3 seconds between them at the moment. Yeah, she's part of surgeon. She's gone up to 5 watts per kilo. I think she's going for it.
And so being lured in to make that catch could very well be the undoing. So it'd be interesting to see whether she can just keep it measured and not go too deep now, just for the privilege of overtaking Reece.
I mean, yeah, I think he's also probably listening to us and spotting Lucy coming up close behind. And yeah, he's bumped the pace up from around 3:30 kilometre to around 3:11 per kilometre now, which is seriously going some.
So there's a definite game of cat and mouse going on, isn't there? It's going to be fascinating to see how this develops in the next few kilometres.
Something I wanted to speak to you about, Simon, on it's VAM or VAM that's used in the cycling world. And it is actually, having done a bit of research, it is something that is used and exists in running, but less so.
Well, yeah, so VAM is effectively a measure of how fast someone is ascending. So it's got nothing to do with kilometers per hour. It's all to do with how many meters you are climbing per hour. So often you'll find that VAM, which stands for just correct my Italian here, velocità ascensionale media, so on steeper climbs your VAM can typically be higher, even though your speed would actually be lower, and yeah, it's used by the big pro teams as a way of pacing their efforts on big mountain days. So they would normally look at a VAM of about 1,500 meters for the kind of the intermediate climbs in the stage. And then when they sort of let loose Chris Froome, Egan Bernal, riders of that caliber, they're looking at 1,700 meters for VAM, which is astonishingly fast. I had a look actually, and Romain Bardet's PB up Alpe d'Huez in real life was a VAM of over 1,600 meters. So that kind of tells you that what he's doing there is at the absolute limit of human performance. But I would imagine a runner going up a really steep trail could probably have a VAM of something similar. I'd be interested to see actually.
Heather is bumping her pace up further. She's at around 4:24 per kilometre. And again, still just a second behind Maya. They're catching each other, passing each other, left, right, and centre.
There we go. We've got the catch. So we've got our. We're now runner in first place, cyclist in second place, runner in third place, cyclist in fourth place. So the bike riders have got their work cut out now, I think, haven't they?
Yeah, and just clocking that Maya is just coming up to 10 hairpins to go. So they are, they're over halfway in terms of hairpins.
Actually, I'm just looking, Heather hasn't quite made the catch on Mile End yet. So whether Maya's just lifted her pace ever so slightly, but I'm super impressed with Heather's pacing. This is textbook stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, she looks really comfortable. Oh, they're coming back. Here they go. Heather's coming back past Maya.
We've got the catch, and look at that. The gradient is up at 15% there. No wonder. There we go. Heather sails effortlessly past. What is Maya Len going to do now? Is she going to raise her pace, or is she? She has indeed.
Oh, she does.
Per kilo.
Oh, they are working so hard there. Look, both of them, their heart rate is well above 170. They are pushing some there.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the gradient, isn't it? Every time it eases off slightly, Maya Len can just roll forwards a little bit. And every time it ramps up, Heather's back there. But look at that, shoulder to shoulder.
This is brilliant. Heather, how are you feeling? Is this pace sustainable? I see you're gradually building it.
My heart rate says 178. Which I think Lionel Sanders would be dead at 178. And earlier I saw that Reece was in the 150s at like 3-minute pace. So in theory, my heart won't take this much longer, but I can still just about talk. So, and I'm ahead of Maya, and that's the main thing.
Maya, you're just behind Heather here. Are you just keeping her in sight? Are you comfortable? Do you think you can make the pass again?
I'll die before. Yeah, it's really hard as always, but it's just trying to keep it steady, not get too carried away, and yeah, never to let Heather get too far away.
Brilliant. Lucy, how are you feeling?
Feeling like Reece is putting it very tactically well. Maybe me not so much, which is annoying.
Do you feel like he can sustain this? I mean, he went off at breakneck speed.
He's making it look far too easy, that's for sure.
I think there's some mind games going on in the pain cave there.
Interestingly, Mark, the final couple of 100 meters is flat. So that means that if Lucy's got something left in the tank for that finishing straight, she's going to be able to munch through the gap very, very quickly indeed. And also, you know, something that we're used to from watching pro cyclists is that often riders will come into the last sort of kilometre and a half as a small group, maybe 5 riders, and then unleash fury for that last kind of couple of minutes. And so even though people are at nearly threshold, there's that ability to go into the red. And on a bike, when you do put that extra effort in, you get so much reward when it comes to speed. And so I think Lucy might, if she can keep this gap at sort of 20 seconds or so coming into the last K, I think the race is hers for the taking.
So yeah, we're just coming up to the third from last hairpin. So really getting quite close here, and the second one's not far after that third from last.
Yeah, now I've noticed, Mark, that the gap is coming down between Lucy and Reece there. We're down to just 33 seconds. So again, it's in the realms of bridgeability in just a few hundred meters. If Lucy does unleash a sprint at the right moment.
I can see Reece, he looks ever so slightly more laboured on the treadmill now, and interestingly you can sort of tell sometimes when people sort of move back on the treadmill every so often as they're sort of just struggling to hold that pace. Well, we're approaching the final hairpin. So yeah, anything can happen here. As you say, it's getting closer and closer to that gap. And it's kicked up to around 10%. Again, Lucy's losing a little bit of time to Reece there, but as it starts to almost plateau out to a degree, time for Lucy to just dig in, try and claw back. She's pushed it on to 5 watts per kilo again. Reece seems to just be settling its pace. Oh, as I say that, he's dropped it down to 3:15 per kilometre. So he's got the finish line in sight almost. He's putting his last
something left in the tank.
And
that is impressive running, isn't it? Really, really impressive. But Lucy's unleashed that finish, 5.6 watts per kilo. I think she's given it everything now to try and close that gap. And it's going to be pretty close, isn't it?
She really is working hard. She's over 300 watts. Over around 180 beats per minute. We're getting so close.
You can hear those gears shifting. Unleashing an almighty sprint there at the end, raising his pace for the line.
Fantastic work by Reece there.
That was some effort, my word, and what a time as well. That's quite a finish from Lucy there, really giving it full gas over those finishing few meters. 6 watts per kilo. That's good skills after a max 40-minute effort, isn't it?
Fantastic work. Yeah, almost 7 watts per kilo at the finish there. And now, once Lucy's gone across the line, it comes down to Maya and Heather, how well they can do, if they can beat each other, and also their time. And we're coming into the closing stages, and actually that time gap is similar, if not slightly shorter, at the same point when we're looking with Lucy and Reece. So we could see Maya catch Heather. But when we were looking at Lucy and Reece at this point, around sort of 3 hairpins to go, I think the gap had opened up to around a minute, whereas the gap for Maya and Heather is around 40 seconds. So Maya does have a shot at maybe clawing something back here. And as we say this, I can see her just powering away at the pedals. She's at almost 4 watts per kilo.
Yeah, now of course there is no pressure, Maya, but you really, really do need to beat Heather. So I'm just gonna put it there, okay? Here we go there. Heather is on the final straight now. Makes it sound easy, but we're still going to be having ramps of 11% plus, so it is not going to be straightforward.
It is a long straight as well, and she's dropped it down to almost 4 minute per kilometre pace. So really going some again. The heart rate's been consistently above 180 beats per minute. So she is absolutely gassing it here, giving it her absolute all. But she's looked incredibly smooth all day long.
She has absolutely smashed it. I think Mylène might have just too much left to do now. She's still got to crest this final hairpin bend, and then Heather might be just visible in the distance on this finishing straight, but that gap is too big. There's no way that's coming down, is it? It's an agonizingly long final straight, that, isn't it? Agonizingly long.
Here we go, the finish line in sight. Heather's sprinting for the line. Has she got anything else just for the final few? Here we go, I can see her bumping the pace up. She's going for it. 3:52 per kilometre. She's flying. Brilliant work, Heather. Fantastic. And Maya so close behind, still really giving it everything she can, almost around 4 watts per kilo. It's just ticked past 45 minutes for her, so very good time at Alpe du Zwift here.
I don't know about you, Mark. I feel like I've done a bit of a workout just watching. That was epic. That was absolutely epic. Full gas sprint for the line. Fair play.
Well, it was 2-0 to the runners in today's race, and what an exciting race it was, with a ton of toing throwing between both sides. Thank you, as always, to Lucy and Reece for getting involved and really giving it their all. Now it is over to you guys. We're going to be running a mass participation event, the same format, runner versus cyclist, later this week. Stay tuned over the coming days for those event details so that you can sign up, and you can choose as to whether you want to represent the cyclists or the runners and set this score straight once and for all. If you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a like, and don't forget you can follow GTN over on social media, and if you're not doing so already, give this channel a subscribe just down below.